Watch it, turn it, leave it, stop formatting, touch it, bring it, pay. Watch it, turn it, leave it, stop formatting, touch it, bring it, pay. Watch it, turn it, leave it, stop formatting, touch it, bring it, pay. Watch it, turn it, leave it, stop formatting.
Okay, so our learning target is I can use check registers to track debits and credits in a checking account. So let's jump into some of the key ideas in this math concepts. So key idea number one, what is a total debit? It's our sums of our deposits minus the cash that we receive. Idea number two, the to update the running balance of a checking account, we have to add the deposits and subtract the debits. And final idea, if I have a negative A plus B, that's the same thing as B minus A. If I have negative A minus B, that's the same thing as negative A plus a negative B. Okay, and we'll put a full screen here and explore some of these ideas here. Okay, first, our guided exercise. Read to yourself as I read it aloud. Mitchell has a balance of $1,200 in his account. He deposits $387.89, and also he deposits $437 with 12 cents. He has a personal check for $250 in his account, and he wants to get back cash, $400. What should be his transaction in his account? Well, we have already talked about the fact that we have a balance, a deposit, a withdrawal that's going to generate a new balance. Well, our balance was 1,200, and we see we had three deposits, and we're looking at a $400 withdrawal. So, in your mind, what would that new balance look like? Well, we know our balance here is just going to come down, and we know if we add these deposits together, that's going to give us a total, and then we subtract that 400. Well, that total ought to be that 1,075 and the 1 penny. Now, if I subtract it from 400, do the math in your mind, or use a graphing calculator, and we should come back with a total of $1,875 and that penny. So that's Mitchell's new balance. So let's take this up a notch. We have this bank in example two. And this particular bank charges us $21 anytime we write a check and the check bounces. That's what we call overdraft. That's why we have something called overdraft protection. But in this case, this person doesn't have the protection, so he has a fee. So on June 5th, we see that he has $989 in this account. And over the next few days, the following checks are submitted to his bank. Okay, so he submits 875. Well, he has money in that account, so it's not negative. Then he submits a check for $340. Not enough money is in that account, so that will bounce. Then he proceeds to submit a check for $450 on June 7th. So how would this shake out if we were looking at a bank registry? Well, let's take a look at the first, second, and third check to see how that might look. Okay. So after the first check, we see that we only have $100, $113 and change left. The second check is not going to cash. It'll bounce, but we have this overdraft protection fee, so the bank will pay it, but it's going to charge us $21. And again, we have another third check. It will clear, but we're going to be charged $21, and that's just going to continue to bring our accounts down. So negative $670 and 28 pennies. We see this again, our fourth and our fifth check, where we've written $330 and $560 respectively. And these again continue to bring our accounts down. So we now have an account that's in the rear, in the negative, of $1,567. All right. We're going to use that negative number and also to account for those 4 checks that we still are getting $21 fees on. So Lewis has checks that returned. He has a bank fee for each return check in this amount. 4 checks, $21. Now, the amount of the return checks plus the bank fees is the total amount Lewis owes the bank. So let's consider what that looks like. We know that 4 times 21 is going to give us the 84. That's the bank fee. We also know that the amount of return checks is 1567. So the total amount Lewis owes the bank is 1651 and 28 cents. All right, we're 6 minutes in. Let's see if we can get another activity. So we have an exercise where we're going to actually build our check registry. So let's take a look at A, B, and C together. We're going to start with a balance of $822.67, and we're going to write our first check. $600 to Excellus Health. And then we're going to deposit a paycheck in on the 11th of $22.70 and 45 cents. Well, what would that look like? Okay. All right, here's the health club expense for $600. We take that $600 less than our initial deposit, and that brings us down to $22.67. We get our paycheck. Yay, paychecks. All right, and that paycheck is going to bring us back up to $450.12. Well, we know that after we get that paycheck, well, we're supposed to get according to D, E, and F, we're supposed to get a $50 rebate. We're supposed to start writing a donation check, make a mistake, void it out, and then we're going to actually write another check for donations for $100. So let's see how that looks on our registry. Okay. There's our rebate check for $50. This is the first check we write. We have a mistake, so we void it out. So we begin writing another check. Same date to the same group for $100. That brings our running balance down to $400.12. We know we're taking an ATM withdrawal out of $20, but we also learned that there's a couple fees associated with that ATM. We learned that that fee is going to be $3.50 and $2.50 for the transaction that the ATM is charging. Okay. And we hate fees, so we try to avoid them at all costs. But here we are, $3.50, $2.50. We add that to our grand total. That brings our accounts down below $200. So we have $194.12. All right. Let's think about this next exercise involving Dean. So Dean has a checking account, and in the month of April, he makes a deposit, $2,458.52. After the deposit, he writes a couple checks, totaling $789.23. He pays a fee, and he earns some interest. His balance at the end of the month was $4,492.76. What is the balance at the beginning of the month? So let's kind of understand what's saying. What we're saying at the very beginning is we have this positive cash flow. Ta-da! We have our initial deposit, we have the interest that we've earned, and we have the fees that are being taken out along with the check that we wrote. So that positive cash flow is 1647. Well, we know that my positive cash flow has to be added to my beginning balance. Well, what was my beginning balance? I don't know. I do know that my beginning balance plus my positive cash flow is going to equal $4,492. So if I just balance my equation by subtracting 1647 from both sides, my balance at the start of the month had to have been $2,845.23. And very easily, we can check that on our calculator by just taking our positive cash flow, plus our balance at the start of the month and see if we get the same balance at the end of the month. So what does that look like? That looks like this. That looks like the balance at the start of the month, 2845.23 plus my cash flow of 1647.53 should equal my balance at the end of the month. But it does. Okay. All right, let's do one more problem and we'll wrap this up so you guys can actually start on the class notes. So we have Elaine. She had M dollars in her checking. She deposits 1,200. She deposits R. She deposits 568.90, and then she starts cashing checks. One cash check is $2, another is $73.70, and we have to write an expression, not an equation. This is right here, guys, equation, equal signs. We're trying to do an expression, no equal signs. So let's not draw it out. Let's just take a look at this. M comes down, 1,200 comes down, R comes down, 568 comes down, T, where's your T at? T right here comes down, that's a minus. 7370 comes down, minus. Add combine like terms. They combine all my numbers, that gives me M plus 1695.20 plus R minus T. All right, that was it. So what's our next step? Our next step is to make sure we've internalized these notes that we just took, and we want to use these notes to actually begin the classwork. Okay? Again, this was checking accounts, lecture notes. Our learning target was I can use the check register to track debits and credits in my account. And as always, 30 minutes of study a day keeps bad grades away.